Hi everyone, it's Josh from Prescription Fitness Physical Therapy and Sports Care, bringing you another video today. This one is about modalities used in the clinics. One of the modalities that we often use and is used quite a bit in our clinic is a laser. It's actually a hot laser. There are actually two types of lasers that are used in physical therapy clinics and probably chiropractic clinics and acupuncture and wherever. There's cold lasers and hot lasers. Cold lasers are defined really by the wattage. They tend to run in milliwatts. They tend to penetrate maybe a centimeter, a couple centimeters. And then we have class 4 lasers, which are also known as hot lasers. And hot lasers run typically in watts, and so that's 1,000 times stronger than a cold laser. And the idea with the wattage is that the higher the wattage, the deeper the depth of penetration. So the question is, what does a laser really do? Why do we use a laser? So the examples we always provide to patients, if you were vitamin D deficient and you needed vitamin D, you went to your doctor, they might suggest that you go out into the sunlight for 10 minutes at least once a day. Another example is if you had a child who was born in the hospital and they were born jaundiced, so their liver's not producing enough bilirubin, they'd run them down to the NICU and they'd typically put them under Billy lights. And so here are examples of where a light stimulus is converted over to a different form of energy, in this case sort of chemical stimulus. The most obvious one is kind of what plants do. So photosynthesis is how most plants derive a lot of their energy anyways, and so it's a conversion of light energy over to chemical energy. So what happens with a laser, and there tends to be sort of the perfect wavelength of lasers, which seems to create the most beneficial effect, which we now term photobiomodulation. So they don't like to use the term laser. Photobiomodulation, big fancy word for the same thing, which really means the conversion of light energy into chemical energy. So what happens is the wavelengths, the laser that we use is a light cure laser. I've been with the company since 2009. That was when we had our first class 4 laser. Before that we had class 3 lasers, which are cold lasers. Big fan of the light cure. It's now called Light Force, so good company, very effective laser that I've been using for quite some time. So what happens is that the laser itself, the light cure anyways, has two wavelengths, 980 nanometer wavelength and then 810 nanometers. So the 980 tends to be absorbed mostly by the water within the cell and creates a little bit of a thermal effect. The 810 is really where the magic probably occurs, and the 810 is where we produce photobiomodulation, where at the level of the cell, and we go back to our 10th grade biology, and the powerhouse of the cell is, yes, the mitochondria. So the mitochondria, there's actually a structure on the mitochondria which absorbs the light energy called cytochrome C oxidation. Not important to know that, but the light is taken in, it's absorbed that level, and it kicks on what's called the electron transport chain. And this is for all the biology majors out there, physiology majors, who kind of know that the end product of the electron transport chain is ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. This is really the energy that the body uses at a cellular level. So everything that we ingest and eat is converted down to ATP, which is stored in the cells. So the theory here is that if I can produce localized ATP and then store it in a region, then I have the capacity to do work longer or harder than I could if I had to rely on sort of the normal way which we get ATP. So the laser helps to increase ATP localized at a cellular level and targeted to the area that we're going for, whether it's a shoulder tendinopathy or let's say a post-operative knee patient. The nice thing about the laser is that nerve endings have tons of mitochondria in them, so it does help to neuromodulate pain. So it can help with pain, it helps with inflammation, it helps with the healing process. It's a great and very useful modality used here in the clinic, and we see examples where it works really well all the time. So that's the laser. We'll do another video where you actually can see what the laser, at least our laser, the Light Cure Light Force laser, looks like and how it affects things. And if you were here in the clinic, you could actually see what it feels like. So the most common feedback from the patient is, wow, it feels great. They like how it feels. and it does have a nice effect, and it is beneficial and facilitating and helping with the healing process. So that's today's modality, which is the class 4 hot laser, and in this case the light force laser. If you guys have any questions, again, just send us an email or send us a link through our Facebook site, which is prescriptionfitnesspt.com. That's actually our email or our online site, and our Facebook link is on there. So Josh, and we'll talk to you soon.